Now, let's conclude the book of Ether. It's as discouraging as reading the ending of the Nephite civilization, as people descend into chaos, descend into conflict, and they lose all love for one another. So let's talk about the ending of the book of Ether. Essentially, the civilization of the Jaredites descends into total chaos between two sides, and the wars go on for years. And we get passages in the book of Ether where the people in the nation choose to either join with Shiz or with Coriantumr, and they battle it all out until finally all that's left is just Coriantumr and Shiz, the leaders of these two parties. And Coriantumr finally overcomes Shiz, and Coriantumr, in addition to Ether, appears to be the last remaining Jaredite. So I wonder, in our own lives today, do we divide ourselves? Do we separate ourselves? And then I wonder, how are we like this today? Let's think about this a bit more. Did the people in each camp, what stories might the people of Shiz claimed about the people of Coriantumr? And were those stories true? Did the people of Shiz take the time to listen and understand what the people of Coriantumr were trying to accomplish, what they valued, what they cared about? Let's turn to the other side. Did the people in the camp of Coriantumr, do you think that they saw the people of Shiz as real people, as sons and daughters of God, with meaningful lives and deep interest in things that might be good? What stories might they have told about the people of Shiz? And why did people choose one side or the other? And once they made that choice, why did they stay in those parties? And in our own lives, we might ask ourselves, what groups have I chosen? And when I choose that group, what stories do I tell about other groups? And are those stories true? I wonder what would have happened had these people stopped to ask themselves, what are we fighting for? I wonder today how many people in society have chosen sides and then fight for power. And they're willing to support any amount of corruption to be able to get power, no matter the consequences. It's just an interesting thought. Are we like the Jaredites today? Are we choosing sides without really understanding the consequences of our choices? Now, I'm not talking about like whether we've chosen to be in the gospel or not. I'm talking about all the other groups that are available to us in our lives, political, social, and otherwise. If Jesus had come up to the Jaredites, which group would he have chosen to join? Or maybe he would have stood right here and said, let's ask ourselves, what do we really care about? What are we trying to accomplish? And I wonder if they had taken the time to just stop and love one another and take time to understand each other and what each side or group or individual wanted to accomplish and was trying to accomplish for their lives. There's a little approach that comes out of the business world, popularized by the Toyota manufacturing. And I wonder, had these people known this, they may have actually been able to avoid the chaos and destruction of their civilization. They may have been able to find out, what are they truly trying to accomplish? Sure, maybe there are people out there that all they want is power. But my sense is that most people, most children of God, want to live flourishing, happy, peaceful lives. And that sometimes we get distracted by power mongers among us who want their own interests and not God's interests. And we feel like we have to choose a side and then fight the other side that we're not part of. So let me tell just briefly about how the 5 whys works. The story goes that in the United States, in the capital city of Washington, D.C., there's a memorial to Thomas Jefferson. Beautiful white limestone monument. Some years ago, the National Park Service that runs that monument noticed that the stone on the monument was deteriorating. And they started investigating and realized, oh, the cleaning supplies that we're using on the stone is destroying the stone. So we might pause and ask, what's the solution? Well, most of us would realize, well, change the cleaning supplies, change it to something that's not destructive to the stone. That seems like a simple answer. But if we stop and ask 5 whys, we might get to the heart of the matter. And before I finish the story about the Jefferson Memorial, we might ask in our own lives, have we asked 5 whys about what motivates our actions? Have we stopped to ask the 5 whys of what motivates other people? What are they really trying to get at? And if you dig down and keep asking why, you get to more powerful, truer, deeper realities. So here's what's happened. Instead of just simply changing the cleaning supplies about the Jefferson Memorial stone, they said, well, why are we cleaning the rock so much? And they noticed there was bird droppings all over the monument. Well, that was coming from the pigeons, the birds nearby. So they thought, well, okay, maybe the answer is to get rid of the birds. But they asked why again. Why are there so many birds near the monument? And as they investigated, they realized the birds were eating bugs off the monument. Well, somebody might stop asking why and say, oh, well, clearly get rid of the bugs. That may be an answer, but what if you ask why are the bugs there in the first place? And what do they discover is at night, when the lights were flooding the white limestone with beautiful light, the bugs would be attracted to the white limestone, and they'd go hang out on the limestone, and the birds come eat them. So by asking why multiple times, the park individuals realized that if they simply turned off the lights after about 10 o'clock at night, when there really weren't any tourists around, that the bugs would not come hang out on the monument, and therefore the birds wouldn't come and eat the bugs, because there were no bugs, and there wouldn't be bird droppings everywhere, which meant they didn't have to clean the monument with the toxic chemicals. And they got to the truth of the matter, is they could actually save on electricity and just turn off the lights at night. Solve the problem. Pretty simple. But very often as humans, we want to jump to the first conclusion, we want to jump to the first answer, we want to believe that the other side is totally evil, and if we don't stop them at all costs, and no matter how much corruption or power we're willing to get for ourselves to stop them, it's worth it. Stop and ask, what's motivating me? What am I really trying to accomplish? What's motivating the other side? And really, should there be sides? Or are we all in this together as children of God, seeking to build a better, more prosperous future? And the tale of the Jaredites and even the Nephites is witness of the failure when societies lose love, they lose empathy, they lose curiosity for other people. And our invitation, and really this is the invitation from the gospel, is to love one another, to be curious about other people's lives, to be empathetic, to seek to understand what they care about, what they hope for, and how, as children of God, they seek to have better lives. And so instead of just defining people based on the side they're on, really getting to know people for who they truly are, and perhaps that can help us avoid the fate that the Nephites and the Jaredites suffered.